Go. Hey Kev, what's going on, buddy? So listen, we're gonna walk through each component of the dish. You and I spoke about the beef a couple days ago. We'll talk in a couple days. Hopefully you get a chance to see this. I know you're extremely busy. I just figured there's a better way to do it than talking on the phone, doing email, back and forth, blah, 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 text or whatever. So we'll just walk through each component of each dish. I'll tell you what I did, what we want to see, and then at the very end I'll put the dish all together, we'll plate it, and then go from there. Okay, so we'll start with the beef. You and I spoke about the strip loin already. You said you got 0x1s, that's great. We'll take it down the middle, we'll truss it. So it's basically going to look like a tenderloin, like a long tenderloin, square-ish when it's done. They will not look like this. I grilled these individually, but we're going to roast the whole loin and then slice it à la minute at service at the event, right? So we'll have the whole strip loins trussed. We'll snip the string and then slice it. So you'll have a nice pink hue. We'll do it about medium on top of the ragu. So we'll just go step by step through the ragu. So here's the ragu we've got going on. So in here, so we basically what we're doing is we're making a chowder. I don't want to tell you guys down on the East Coast how to make a chowder, so I think you get it. So you've got onions, celery, carrot, bacon, thyme, parsley, corn in the ragu. All about a ½ inch cut, all as even as we can get it. And that's just basically sweated off, little salt and pepper, touch of olive oil, and at the very end we're going to add some of our liquid. What it is a deconstructed chowder. I don't want to put this mirepoix in with our liquid because this will overcook, and I do not want this to overcook. In with our liquid because this will overcook, and I do not want this to overcook, so we're going to do it separately. Okay, so that's our chowder. That's our vegetable base for our chowder. Next step is our chowder. So what I've done is we're basically making a lobster and corn stock. So I want it bisque-esque, but not a bisque. So when we roast the shells, the lobster shells that we're going to use from the lobster that we're going to shell, we're going to roast them. You can do a little bit of flour, a little bit of tomato paste, roast them. Then you're going to do a lobster stock with corn in it. So you take the corn that you've taken the kernels off, you take the cobs, you throw in the pot with your lobster shells, some water, some onion, peppercorn, bay leaf, carrot, celery, and let that go. Bay leaf, carrot, celery, and let that go. What you should end up with is a nice corn-flavored shellfish broth is what we're looking for. When we're done that, we're going to strain it. We're going to add some cream, a touch of cream, some clam juice. We're going to bring that down and thicken it. If we need to thicken it, we'll thicken it with a little bit of roux, tiny bit of roux, just to add some viscosity to it, a little bit of body. So that's it. And we want a pinky color. We don't want a red color. We want a touch of tomato paste for the acidity, for a little bit of balance and flavor. So next we have the butter poached lobster, which will go on top of our ragu. Again, I didn't want to mix it into the chowder, as I wanted everyone to have the same amount of lobster. So what we do is we take it, we shell the lobster, we reserve it to the side, cut it in about 1-inch pieces. We're looking about 2 to 3 ounces of lobster. It gets butter poached in a beurre fondue. So all this is just sweet vermouth. We can cut it with a little bit of water, and you mount it with butter. Keep it about 110 degrees. You don't want it too hot, it'll split. You don't want it too cold, it'll split. Just gotta be warm covered. The lobster is basically going to steep in it. So when we cook the lobsters, you're only going to cook for about 8 minutes. You're going to par cook them, you're going to cool them down, and then we're going to shell them. Reserve the shells for the sauce, use the lobster, reserve the lobster meat for the actual chowder. Okay, so there's that. Then we have the marrow bones. It's a nice little garnish on the dish. So these are veal marrow bones. We have not decided. I'm talking to Atlantic beef purveyors right now. They might be able to deal with beef bones if they're not too large, and you'll 2 to 2 1/4 inches. They're gonna have to be soaked and cleaned, but we can talk about that after. So that's what the end product should look like. On top of that is the horseradish gremolata. So what I've done is I've taken breadcrumb, horseradish, lemon zest, Parmesan cheese, oregano, and parsley. A little bit of olive oil, and I've spun it in the Robo mix, right? Just to disperse it, just like you're doing Provençal crumbs for a lamb rack. Very similar. So the the marrow bones are pre-cooked, and then they're sit on a tray on the top of the gremolata. So when we go to service, they're just popped in the oven. This will brown, and away we go. Use as a garnish. This is also up for debate. Chef McEwen and I have been talking about it. A veal jus, just a light drizzle of veal jus to finish. Whether we need it or not, we don't know.